Hello there, welcome back to the channel. It's Katie here with another tutorial video. Today we're looking at forced landings, and these principles you can apply to any aircraft that you need to ditch into a field. Of course, if you do like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment below. So let's get to it. As you can see, we're having a pretty bad day. It looks like we've had an engine failure, and of course we carry out our initial actions depending on the type of aircraft you're flying. So don't forget to refer to the POH of the aircraft that you are indeed flying. But we're going to assume that we've carried all that out, and now we're in a place to decide where to land. So in order to help us decide on where to go, we have a really helpful tool known as the 5 S's. The 5 S's stand for size, shape, slope, surface and surrounds. And we use that to help us remember the things we need to consider when deciding on a suitable landing area. It goes without saying, the bigger the landing site, the easier it will be for us. Because we're pilots, we tend to want to land on something that looks like a runway, but let's not discount circular fields, because that means we can land in any direction, and therefore a guaranteed end-to-end landing. Slope is a fairly tricky one to judge from altitude, because everything just looks flat. But one thing you can do is you can look at clues, such as shadows or fast-flowing water. If you do have to land on a slope, then of course an upslope is better than a downslope to help you slow down. Surface can also be quite difficult to judge from altitude, but we can use a few hints and tips to help us work out what might be a good landing site based off their colour. A light brown field might imply that it's recently been ploughed and full of hay bales. A dark green field might imply it's soft and boggy. The kind of field you probably want to aim for is a light green one. It's really important to consider the surroundings of your planned landing site. Tall trees in the undershoot might cause you problems when you're trying to land in the field. Of course, if this is for real, you can't go around, but if it's a practice forced landing you're doing, then you of course need to consider the missed approach. Roads tend to have power lines following them along, and they can be really hard to see until the very latter stages of the approach. The landing site I've elected to prepare for is a long light green field, with its longest side into wind. Taking a close look, you can also see that it's nice and flat. There's a rather clear undershoot, so no problems there, and with the road running alongside it, the chances are the cables run parallel rather than through the field. With that said though, no landing site is perfect. This is an emergency, so there does become a point where you have to make your decision. Once we've made our decision, we're going to set up the forced landing traffic pattern around our landing site. This is fairly similar to a normal traffic pattern, the only difference is the fact that of course you have a higher rate of descent, and also you need to keep it a little tighter to your landing site, because you are in effect a glider. The first gate being 1500 feet above ground level, just as you enter onto downwind. The second is a beam the landing threshold, and you want to be about 1000 feet above the ground. We're going to configure as energy permits. The earlier you configure, the more drag, and so the faster you're going to descend. So that's a judgment call for you as a pilot to make. And finally, when it does come to touchdown, we're looking to aim for a landing point around about a third of the way into the field. So let's have a bit of fun with this. Let's put all that theory together, jump in the aircraft, see if we can get it into the field. So here we are inside the Piper Arrow, with an engine failure, pitching currently for 79 knots, which is the best glide speed, and we're just up here at 1500 feet above the ground level, since the terrain below us is at 900 feet. Just a quick glance to the left, you'll see our landing site that we've pre-planned. So we're completely trimmed out for the 79 knots we need to maintain. You'll notice the airspeed is pretty constant, but the altitude slowly decreasing. So here we are, 1000 feet above the ground and a beam our landing site. So now becomes a bit of a judgment call for when we're going to make the left-hand base turn. One of the best things to do is look out of your rear window, of course if you have one, and effectively put the landing site at around about your 8 o'clock position. Once it's there, you can then start to make your left hand turn round, trying to keep it in the window. The limitations of this sim mean that it is quite hard to do, but in real life, just have a look out your left-hand window and just keep glancing at where you're going to go. Quick glance back inside just to monitor the airspeed, maintaining that 79 knots as we go. Once we're certain we're going to get into the field, we'll then take our first stage of flaps. We'll drop the gear, and then as appropriate, taking flaps 25 and flaps 40. Notice with our final selection of flaps, the aircraft really wants to descend, and now we're aiming for that third of the way into the field. Now prepare for a bumpy ride. Into the flare. We'll touch down. And essentially you just need to hold on for dear life. The aircraft will bring itself to a stop. And it's time to breathe a sigh of relief. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below. And otherwise, enjoy putting your aircraft into some fields, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye!